What is up, everyone? It's Chris Vogel from the Straight Up Saints podcast. Not going to do a full podcast for this particular video, but there is some Saints related news we're talking about real quick, and it involves their former head coach, Sean Payton. So around mid-afternoon on Thursday, Michael McCarthy from Front Office Sports comes out with a very interesting piece, and I'll read it right here. It says the Carolina Panthers are eyeing the Super Bowl winning coach in commas slash parentheses, Sean Payton, as the savior who can lead them back to the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sources told Front Office Sports. Then McCarthy followed it up by saying the Panthers might be willing to wait a year while Sean Payton recharges his batteries on TV and then figure it out after. So much to take from one report. And there's so many different ways I could go with it, but I'll kind of hit you guys with my initial thoughts and then kind of dip out from here because it's just such a speculative thing. But for starters, Matt Rule has to be a lame duck head coach for this year. And I think that's something that we all kind of thought, which is why I didn't think they were going to take quarterback early, because they weren't going to give him a rookie quarterback and then have that rookie quarterback go through a new system if Rule gets fired. And then B, I think it kind of says what we already know. Teams are going to be interested in Sean Payton. It doesn't matter that he stepped down from his role with the Saints. It doesn't matter that he might not do any type of coaching role this year. It doesn't matter. He doesn't even have to do TV, and there will be interest. He's been linked to, over the last couple months, he's been linked to the Dolphins. He's been linked to the Bears. He's been linked to the Cowboys. I mean, he gets linked to the Cowboys every day, so that one's a given. And now he has been linked to the Panthers. So there's 4 teams already that have been linked to Sean Payton since he stepped down. Is he going to go to any of those teams? Who knows? That's something that we'll have to wait and see how this whole situation plays out. But I think it is fascinating. And I think while Saints fans might be frustrated at the idea of Sean Payton coaching an NFC South rival, I will say the benefit to all this noise right now is that I'd imagine every time a team gets lumped into the mix and every time a team actually does have interest in Sean Payton and it gets out, the price goes up for Sean Payton. And why is that important? Well, the Saints don't have a first round pick next year. They need to get some of those picks back. How can you do that? Trading away Sean Payton, that would get you a lot of those picks that you gave up this year back in return. And the Saints can make some magic next year's draft if they want to, if this all went down. But I think it's really fascinating. I don't know if Carolina would be the place for Sean. And I think the main reason is they don't have a quarterback. I think when we look at why Sean left from the Saints, it could be that he was burnt out and things of that nature. But one big thing for me was I felt like he wasn't comfortable with what the offense was at. And part of it was his fault, obviously. But I felt like he really just didn't like where that part of the team was at. And why would he go to Carolina, where their quarterback room currently consists of Matt Corral, Sam Darnold, just a PJ Walker, a bunch of options that just don't work. So I think that is a question worth asking. Carolina could give him a lot of money. Carolina could give him a lot of control when it comes to personnel decisions. But can they give him a chance to win? I don't know about that. And on top of it, I do think the idea of Sean going back to an NFC South team, while it is interesting, it would probably get fans very aggravated. I don't know if that's something he'd actually do. And I'm not saying I'm giving Sean the benefit of the doubt saying he wouldn't go to a rival, but I just never thought about it. I've said Chicago makes sense, or Miami makes sense, or Dallas makes sense, or even the Chargers, if they miss the playoffs, that makes sense. I never really thought of Carolina as a spot for him. But nonetheless, the Panthers are reportedly eyeing down Sean Payton as their next head coach. And the fact that they're eyeing him down almost as quote unquote a savior, that is fascinating. And again, so much uncertainty. No one knows if he's doing TV yet, if he's going to Amazon, whatever it might be. But if he does come back to coaching and it happens within the next year or two, I do think the Saints will get paid fairly well. The report from McCarthy of Front Office Sports says that the cost is anywhere from like a first to a second. If you were to trade him within division, I would imagine it's more than that. It's more than a first, because that is pretty tough to trade him within division. But again, we'll see what happens. It's only May. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. Does this report scare you? Does it something you welcome? Is it something you'd rather stay away from? The idea that Sean goes to the Panthers and stays in the NFC South? Do you simply not care anymore about what the heck Sean Payton decides to do with his future? I'm curious. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, make sure to subscribe to Beat Crew Media's YouTube page. But again, that's going to wrap this one up. Just a quick video on this Sean Payton situation. Just very odd. Would be a juicy storyline, though, nonetheless. Panthers interested in Sean Payton. Will it happen? I don't know. Time will tell that story. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Make sure to subscribe as always and check out the Straight Up Saints podcast. Have a recap on the schedule and more to come in the future as rookie minicamp is getting underway. So have a great Thursday, guys. And I'll be back with more content later this week.